Welcome to Learning Through Math, the podcast. I'm Laura at I Teach the Why.
I'm Karina at Mrs. Cousins 5. Our mission is to inspire ourselves and others to keep learning and improving with passion.
And hugs! You can find us at learningthroughmath.com and on Twitter at Laura and Karina.
Come and join us on this journey of learning.
Thanks for joining us. We are recording this in September of 2020.
And welcome to episode 16, Exit Cards, Not Tickets.
I can't wait to get into this
Me
topic.
too.
We want to give a shout out to Scouter 2009, who gave us a 5-star review and wrote this on Apple Podcast. It's titled Delightful Math Discussions. Your podcast is delightful and the topic is math. You keep things moving and interesting. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Scouter 2009.
Yay. Thank you so much. We don't know who you are, but thank you.
You can reach out to us on Twitter so that we know who you are.
Don't forget to post pictures. We would love to see what it is that you're working on in your classroom.
Oh, because we're always learning.
Always learning.
Yes. So speaking of our journey of learning, we are going to reflect back on our journey of learning, which was our topic from last week's episode. This week, our local math council got together virtually, of course.
Yep.
You know the episode 9 that we recorded when we talked about Never Say Anything a Kid Can Say article?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yes, of course you are. I hope you are. And listeners, if you're not familiar with it, jump back to episode 9.
It's a good one.
Our local math council, in the past 2 years, I've facilitated a book club that we've done for each season, kind of like a fall book club and a spring book club. Well, since we're doing things virtually, we had discussed and decided on we were going to do M Cubed, monthly math meet. And for this first one we did last week was discuss the article, Never Say Anything a Kid Can Say.
Which is a goodie.
It's a very good one. At the beginning of our meet, I just wanted to do a quick check-in with everyone.
Yeah.
So I just asked, there were 10 of us on the Google Meet, including myself. So I just asked everyone, so-and-so, how are you doing? So-and-so. And of course, we're all exhausted.
Yeah.
It's how you and I feel.
Yep.
Completely. And this one teacher who I haven't met yet, she must be new to our council or just decided to come to, this one. And I asked her how she was doing, and she said to me afterwards, she said, "Thank you for checking in on me." She said, "No one beside my family has asked me how I'm doing." She said, "Not a coworker, not admin." And I get it because we're all so completely overwhelmed. Do you remember when you first had your children, did you ever experience being zombie mom? Like, I definitely did. When Christian was born, I felt like for 3 months I was a complete zombie.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting enough sleep.
Right.
I was, washing this and doing that and sanitizing and, everything. I honestly feel, Karina, that this is beyond zombie mom.
Totally. And I forget to do things, and I haven't checked my email, and it's just the list keeps going on and on. I haven't graded things. I haven't looked at student work. I haven't, it just keeps going on, and I can't keep up. And we're September.
Correct. And this was our first week of hybrid learning. I don't know how this is going to be sustainable. I was reading an article.
No, I'm already burnt out.
Right.
Yeah, I'm burnt out. I don't feel this way until usually January. Right. I am burnt out.
Like we are tapped. We're done, right?
Yeah.
I was reading an article, I think it was on We Are Teachers maybe, and they were saying how teachers right now are in a constant fight or flight.
Yeah.
We are.
Yep.
But we don't realize it.
Right.
That's the worst part.
Right.
And when we get to like the weekend right now. How many hours did you sleep last night?
I don't know, but I slept well. I was out. Like, it took me maybe 30 seconds to get to sleep. I was so tired.
I slept for 12 hours last night. This is beyond exhausted.
It is.
Like,
it is. It's like, it reminds me of, I know you're not a gamer, but it reminds me of the game Minecraft. left. And the first night, when you play in survival mode, it's really surviving the first night. Like that's the hardest part, because you need to have food and shelter. Shelter is like the most important thing that you have to build on that first night, and tools. You need tools too, right? But sometimes you, or at least this is what I do. Maybe there's a better strategy out there, but this is how I play. So you want to survive the night. The zombies are coming. You have to, the monsters are coming. You have to create some kind of shelter that will hide you and keep you safe. Sometimes that just means creating your own little cave in a mountainside, like a little hole that you can just cover yourself in, and then just wait until, and like destroy the rock so that you can see if it's still nighttime. I know you don't know what I mean, but
I do.
Okay, destroy it, see if it's still nighttime. If it is, cover yourself back up and just keep waiting in this dark hole. Like, that's what I feel teaching is right now.
Yes.
It's just like trying to survive the night, and trying to survive the week, and trying to survive just everything that they throw at us.
Yes. So really, we're trying to survive the day, by the way.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Every school
And that
day.
goes into our good news that we actually did survive the week, the first week. And let me tell you, I think it was the longest week I've ever experienced. It felt like 3 months.
This was the beginning of, this is the beginning of year 29 for me. And I know that I'm always school tired by the end of the first week. And
Right.
I don't know. This is worse than right after I gave birth. And I'm not being funny right now.
No.
And I know we love to laugh and everything. How are we going to do this?
I do not know.
So
I'm honestly worried about
all of us.
Yeah, about all of us.
So am I. So in the meantime, how are you? Like, I'm going to do a quick check-in with you.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm hanging in. I'm really glad it's the weekend. And
too.
that we have a long weekend.
Yes.
Me
too.
Just, breathe in, breathe out. That's how I'm doing.
That's
it.
Decompress.
Right. But also get things accomplished. Like, I can't afford not to do things this weekend, because next week is coming,
Yep.
It's
the vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And for those of us that are teachers, or we are teachers and our spouses and our families know, we literally spend so much of our time developing lessons, doing things that for school. And even if we're not sitting in front of the computer, I'm thinking about, how can I make this lesson better? How can I reach that one kid that I haven't even met in person? Okay, not one kid, I should say, all of them on the computer.
And that's what we were just, before this episode, we were talking about, where we are with our students, and I still feel we're a month in, and I still feel like I don't know them.
Right.
They're still little strangers to me.
I think one thing that's helped is, you told me before we started recording that you've had time now to have one-on-one conferences and conversations with the kids.
Right.
And what did you do? 3?
I did 4 during reading. The biggest struggle has been small groups.
Yes.
I have tried so many ways.
6 ways from Sunday.
Yeah, to try to make this work, because I love teaching in small groups. That's my thing. I love the collaboration and it's not me talking all the time. It's them thinking and discussing and building those relationships. Mm-hmm. And without them, I've been really lost as a teacher.
I think that's why we both feel we don't know any kids.
Right.
What about the ones in your classroom? Do you feel like you know them any better?
No. So that's why I started doing, meets with just one-on-one, like a little mini conference, so that I at least can get to know them a little bit.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes. I obviously won't be able to do it as often as I'd like. The goal right now is to try to see them once a week.
Right.
And we'll see how that goes. Right.
With each child once a week. I think that's a great goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what about middle and high school teachers?
I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it.
And even my son, and I also hear from my other friends whose kids are in middle and high school, how quiet they are at home. Do you know that one of my friends said last week the only thing her daughter said was the word present?
Oh.
What? We've got to do something.
Yeah.
This is not working. I think if we just keep trying to build those relationships one-on-one with kids.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe even middle and high school teachers, if you can do your open office hours and invite kids or something to try to get to know them as people.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I think that that's going to be more important than ever before, right? Just building those relationships and checking in on the kids, just like you checked in with the teacher.
Right.
But, and how are you doing, by the way?
Thanks. It's been a whirlwind of a week. It was a week that I hadn't planned on doing. I had to be a third grade all subject teacher for the week because that teacher was out. And of course I'm going to jump in because that's what I do. And it was very, very difficult, just beyond everything that you've already said. And even the technology, the first day
oh gosh, the first day was a mess.
Oh my gosh. And it was the first day of anybody hybrid. And I don't know these kids at all because I'm at a brand new school.
Right.
And they don't know me other than seeing me on the morning announcements. So maybe they got a little glimpse of who I am, but they don't know me as a teacher.
Right.
It did get better throughout the week. And when I say better, we're still nowhere where we want to be. But I survived.
Good.
I survived.
Listen, that's the goal this year, is survive.
How many times have we read on Facebook that forget content, it is all about building relationships? Mm-hmm. That's number one. Content is second. Yep. Everything else is third.
Yes.
Whatever everything else is.
Yes.
Assessments and...
Oh, that's way down my list.
Let's talk about that another time.
That's a big topic.
It is.
So let's get started. Yeah,
let's do it.
Let's get started with exit cards.
Okay, I have some questions for you. And
all right.
I know you have some questions for me.
Yes.
So my first question is, why are we calling them exit cards and not exit tickets?
You and I have talked about calling it something other than exit ticket because a ticket implies that you're leaving and going somewhere.
Right, or you're going to get something.
You're going to get something. So calling it an exit card or an exit task is just a different way, I guess, a different way of thinking about it.
A different mindset, yes. Mm-hmm.
So what were you thinking?
I was thinking the same thing. I think a few years ago, I heard, somebody, I don't know who it was probably at a conference, and I heard them say, stop calling it exit ticket because you're not getting a ticket to do anything.
Right.
And I think they called it an exit card. And I said, that makes a lot more sense, or an exit task, because we do want to know what they know.
Yeah.
My next question is, what types of questions or how many questions do you put on an exit card for your students?
I had that one. Our district does a nice job of putting some problem of the day questions available for teachers to use in their classroom. Mm-hmm. I use those. Typically, it's just one question.
Right.
Sometimes I'll give them 2 cards, right? 2 pieces, little half sheets, pieces of paper. Now, this is obviously pre-COVID. Now, it's just a task on Google Classroom that they just have to complete.
No, wait. Do you do it on a slide? Do you do it on a form?
I use Google Classroom question so that it's all together.
Oh, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, so it's just...
Is that easier?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll show you.
No, now I think I know what you're talking about because the teacher who I was filling in for this week had something for morning message, and that must have been...
a question.
I saw it was almost like a poll.
Yeah, you can make it a multiple choice if you want.
Okay.
But a lot of the ones that we have are just short answer because they're open response.
Okay, Google question on Google Classroom.
Yes,
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
See, you learn something.
All the time.
Always learning.
I have another branch that I kind of want to explore with this idea of the question.
Wait, so we're going off on a tangent?
No, it's still connected. But I think that it's also important, and I don't do this enough.
Okay.
To not just ask mathematical questions, right? You can do like a 3-2-1 where it's 3 things that you've learned, a 2
oh my gosh,
right?
Yes.
2 strategies that you've tried out this week. 1.
Where did we learn
whatever.
that? The 3-2-1.
3-2-1's been out. I don't know where
I
it
know,
came
but,
from.
Oh,
it's
man.
out. Right? So there's so many things that you can do. There's even...
You're making me picture a page in a book, and now I'm going to have to go and find that. Yes.
There's also another one I like. It was actually a slide on Pear Deck where it was pretend that your friend was absent that day and write down the lesson in a sentence. The questions that we ask on those exit cards don't have to be math related only, you know?
Right.
And I think as a teacher, I tend to forget that. I always make it about a math. Let me see if they understood this math lesson today. Let me see what they can do.
You remind me later. I think one of the books is with a red cover. And then another one, I think, is Joe Bowler's book, Mathematical Mindsets. I'm pretty sure it's in there.
All right.
Okay. So whatever it is, I'll look it up and we'll put it in the show notes.
Question for you.
Okay.
Should they be used on a daily basis?
Oh my gosh. One of the questions I had for you was, how often are you giving them? Okay. This kind of follows into my third question for you.
Okay.
Which is, how have you found time, or have you found the time and or energy to even look at them and or give feedback? Which kind of goes into the question you asked me, is
Right.
how often? Honestly, you can't do this every day.
No.
Maybe give yourself a goal. Honestly, right now,
Especially now.
once a week. Mm-hmm. Once a week.
Mm-hmm. I agree. No, I agree. It's very difficult to squeeze it in.
Right.
And even in now that I have some kids in class and some kids virtually, I don't want to do it on paper.
Right.
Because then I have to look at two different things. I have to look at the ones I've collected on paper and log into the computer and look at those. The best way for me is to just keep it all in one place.
Correct.
So I'm not trying to juggle and find where did I put this? Where is this? Where is this? And then I have all of them, all classwork
In one spot.
in one spot.
I think that comes back to organizing ourselves. And unfortunately, I think I've put things in so many different places for this past week for myself. I know I did lots of things on Jamboards for the kids because we were starting to learn about multiplication.
Right.
Because I was in a third grade class. And I took Berkeley's Math is Visual slides that he put on Jamboard. So thank you for that. And we were marking up everything. The co-teacher that was in my room for supporting kids was able to look at the Jamboards while I was actually teaching.
Right.
And marking up things and looking at the different arrays and how are we going to break these apart. And yesterday I got to introduce the distributive property using the arrays, which was phenomenal because the kids actually got to see a visual model of what this thing in parentheses plus this thing in parentheses actually meant.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on, they're 8. This is probably the first time they're ever seeing distributive property.
Of course.
And it's September.
Right.
So this is definitely something I hope the teacher goes back to constantly. As the co-teacher was looking at the students' Jamboards, she would say to me, so-and-so has nothing on their Jamboard. So I would say, so-and-so, do you know how to get to here? Okay, so Jamboards was one platform I was using, and I also did a Google form that I didn't tell the kids it was a quiz, but it really was a quiz.
Right.
And I took it, and I took each question and put it in a Google form, and I called it Unit 2 Math Check-In.
Right.
And I just wanted to know what they knew.
Right.
So I tried to do an assessment by sneaking it in and not calling it a quiz or a test.
Right. What I've done, and I think I'm going to say this because maybe somebody needs to hear it.
Okay.
You don't have to look at everything, right? Let's just remember that even in a good year, I don't look at everything that they produce for me in the classroom.
I'm laughing because especially days when if I'm ever out and there was a sub.
Yeah.
What did
in garbage.
Recycle.
I don't. Yeah. No, there's no time. And I'll usually leave something that's just kind of not busy work, but just things that I know that
maybe it's a review.
Yes, a review that would be good for them, and they've already learned it, and I've already taught it.
Because the substitute can't teach the way we teach.
Doesn't know how to teach it. Right.
They'll go back to I do, we do,
Yes,
you do, and spoon fitting everything.
Right. So it just goes right in the trash. Now let's be honest. That's our little secret. Don't tell anyone. Shh.
Mine really does go in the recycle bin. It really does.
No, it does.
It's like
100%.
for real.
You don't need to look at everything. Pick those things that are the good tasks that will give you lots of information.
That's really the only things we should be assigning.
Yes.
Because if you're not going to look at everything, don't assign it.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah. But again, you have good intentions.
Yeah.
And you think this is a good task and I want to see what they can do, but give yourself permission to say, you know what, it's okay not to look at this. It's
Yep.
okay to delete this part.
Yep.
And just forget about this activity or this thing that I wanted them to work on.
Yep.
That's okay.
Absolutely.
My other question for you was before COVID. Okay. So in the classroom when we had paper and we would collect those papers, do you recommend as a teacher, holding on to that work or redistributing it out to the kids, giving it back to them?
Okay, I've done both. Mm-hmm. And I found that it was easier for me to keep it because I give it back to them. And where do they put it? It ends up at the bottom of their backpack or in the recycle bin or in the trash can. But what is my main purpose for collecting them? Really, I want to see if they know whatever we did, if they really truly understood it. Plus, I love to use it as a look where this kid made the mistake.
Yes.
Can you see where this kid made the mistake?
Yes.
And how can we help that student fix it? And of course, I block out their names.
Like my favorite no.
Yes. If you are not familiar with My Favorite No, it's on Teaching Channel. Look it up.
We'll link it.
Okay. All right. We'll link it.
And I think what you said was really important there. I want to kind of spend a little bit, just a few seconds on purpose.
Yes.
It's all about what is the purpose. Really ask yourself, what is the purpose of this task? What information am I going to get from it?
And if it's not going to give you any information that you don't already know, don't give it.
Yeah. And listen, Laura, I do want to say one more. Here's another thing. Wait, I have one more thing. One more thing. I think I understand what you're saying with, make sure that you're picking tasks and don't just give it to give it. But sometimes we need to just give stuff. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I need to just have a moment where I have some flexibility and I can pull a kid or I can't. So I will assign something that I know that might not be something that I look at, or it might, I don't want to say busy work, but you know what I'm saying? Just so that I have a minute to breathe, to do attendance.
Yep. Oh, I didn't tell you what I did this week.
What?
I pulled up Ken.
Oh,
I put it
Ken
on.
Ken.
Okay, let me think what I did. Because by the end of the week, I completely changed the way I did it. The first day, I pulled up a Ken for Tuesday because Monday I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what the teacher had left. And I found out 5:45 in the morning that I was going to be doing this.
Gosh.
So, you just jump in and do whatever the teacher had left you. P.S. The writing plans that she left for the week, apparently I did them all on Monday. Whoops. Sorry. I didn't know what I didn't know. On Tuesday morning, I pulled up a Ken. I snipped it as a picture. I put it as an assignment, but then I had the kids take out their notebooks and redraw it.
Right.
Okay. Well, Thursday night, I said, I got to get smarter about this. So I snipped it and I put it on a Jamboard and I made stickies that said 111, 222, 333. So all they had to do was move the stickies in.
Nice.
Friday morning.
Right.
Which made my life and their lives so much better.
Yeah.
When you have your students hold up their notebook to the screen, I can't see anything because they're writing in pencil.
Yeah.
And it's so light.
Yeah.
At least with the Jamboard, I can see what they did.
Right. Smart. Good idea.
Thank you. We're going to jump to our challenge for this week. We want you to share with us how you are using exit cards in this new way of schooling.
Mm-hmm. Or if maybe you have another name for them, if you call them something different, maybe not an exit card.
We want to know.
We want to know.
Thanks for joining us. We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast and give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting platform. We invite you to join the conversation on Twitter by using the hashtag #LearningThroughMath.
We'd love to hear your feedback. Make sure to tag us at Laura and Karina. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
To you too.